Thus saith the Lord. My counsel stands. My will is not shaken by the dust of nations, nor bent by the hunger of men. I speak, and creation listens. I move, and history bends. The proud call my purpose rigid, the weary call it cruel. Yet I do not adjust my will to your wounds, I heal your wounds by my will.
When we speak of God's will, what comes to mind? Rules etched in stone, a monarch's decree, waiting to punish disobedience, a checklist of do's and don'ts with divine wrath hanging over every mistake. Or is it something deeper? After countless conversations, I've come to realize most people misunderstand God's will. Not because they're irreverent, but because they inherited a distorted frame. The truth? God's will isn't a divine rule book. It's a reflection of his nature. It's holy, just, and restorative. Not arbitrary commands, but the heartbeat of creation. So tonight, let's explore these attributes. Not as preferences, but as essential threads in the fabric of who he is. So what do we mean when we use the word holiness? Most people assume it's about moral judgment or perfection. But those are descriptors, not definitions. They're symptoms of something deeper. The original word carries a threefold meaning: set apart, sacred, pure. Of these, set apart might be the most revealing. It's about uniqueness, something utterly unlike anything else. When we say God is holy, we're saying that his character, his power, and his purpose belong in a category all their own. Think of it like comparing a forest fire to a flashlight. Sure, both give light, but only one can change what it touches. So if God is truly holy, then his authority isn't a borrowed edict. It flows from his essence. His moral law isn't imposed. It's a reflection of what reality was designed to be. He doesn't define morality the way we do. He is morality. So why must God be holy? Because in order to be trusted, God must be uncompromised, uncorrupted, pure. If he weren't, he couldn't judge. He couldn't deliver complete justice. He couldn't heal what's broken in us. Despite what many may think, holiness isn't a threat. It's the guarantee that God is safe to surrender to. If holiness is what sets God apart, justice is what flows from that purity. They're not separate traits, they're aligned realities. God doesn't enforce justice out of obligation. He embodies it. Justice isn't just punishment. It's restoration. It's setting things right. Realigning creation with the goodness it was made for. Picture a master jeweler, not smashing what's flawed, but refining it. Cutting away the counterfeit. Burning off the dross. That's justice with a pure, holy pulse. This means divine justice isn't reactive, it's proactive. It's not fueled by rage, but by love that refuses to leave evil untouched. So when God judges, it's not vindictive, it's surgical. He sees all, weighs all, and acts without bias. No corruption, no compromise. Let's face it, we all cry out for justice because we're wired to know that the world isn't as it should be. And we trust God's justice because it's rooted in the holiness we just described. unshakable, untouched, uncompromised. So the cross, then, isn't a loophole. It's a collision of justice and mercy, wrath and love, holiness and hope. So if justice is the fire that purifies, mercy is the water that cools the blade. It's not weakness, it's restraint. Not compromise, but compassion. Mercy is what happens when a holy God looks at a guilty world and moves towards it, not away. Where justice exposes the wound, mercy binds it. Imagine a judge stepping down from the bench, not to dismiss the case, but to take the sentence himself. That's the scandal of mercy. It honors justice, but refuses to leave us in shame. It holds the weight of sin, but hands back hope. God's mercy isn't blind. It sees clearly and still chooses to love. Not because we're good, but because He is. Holiness makes mercy possible, because God is uncorrupted. His forgiveness is trustworthy. Justice makes mercy credible, because God doesn't ignore the cost. The cross isn't sentimental, it's surgical. Mercy doesn't erase judgment, it endures it. So when we speak of God's mercy, we're not talking about leniency. We're talking about love that suffered, so that the guilty could go free without the truth being erased. So if mercy is God's restraint, grace is His reach. Mercy spares us from the judgment we deserve. Grace gives us what we could never earn. It's more than forgiveness. It's favor. Not just relief, but renewal. Grace is where holiness touches the unworthy and doesn't flinch. It's justice satisfied, mercy poured out, and love running wild. And here's the wonder. Grace doesn't just rescue, it equips. It reorients our desire, empowers change. It moves us from guilt to glory, not because we climbed, but because we were lifted. If mercy binds the wound, grace rebuilds the limb. It's healing with momentum. Now, God could just simply overpower us. He could command conformity, but He chooses to invite. Holiness wouldn't be holy if it demanded submission without room for refusal. Free will is how grace remains grace. Without choice, love is just programming. Without choice, mercy is manipulation. So God makes space. Room to rebel, room to return. And when we say yes, it's not robotic, it's redemptive. Free will means grace that can be received with gratitude, not guilt. It means our surrender is meaningful. And it means our transformation is participation, not coercion. God doesn't just save us. He chooses to partner with us. So one of the biggest arguments I've heard is people complaining that God threatens with judgment. But as we've seen, it's not a threat. It's an undeniable conclusion for a rebellious heart. The fact is that we are invited to become something more than what our sinful nature says we are. So if you're sitting on the fence still unsure, then I offer you this challenge. Hebrews 11:6 offers, if you seek God honestly, humbly, and with true intention in your heart, He is faithful to open your eyes. I actually took him up on this offer and began praying daily for 6 months. And my goodness, how my eyes have been opened since. So moved I was by this that I have not ceased seeking him and he continues to bless me daily. So that's my challenge to you. Just give him 6 months and really seek him. Not as a skeptic, but as someone who truly wants to know. Now, while you may not see the clouds open up and a figure descend, I promise, if you are true in your pursuit, in 6 months' time, you will see things that you would never believe. With that, we're going to draw this segment to a close. As always, what do you think? Was there anything I missed or got wrong? Drop it down below, and let's talk about it. And of course, I have to end this with your customary like, share, subscribe, comments, blah, blah, blah. I think it's written in some law somewhere. But anyway, I digress. God bless, and if God wills, I will see you all again next Saturday. Let him who has ears to hear, let us all hear.